I see it, but I don't believe it. 33,715. The king is back. Wolf. Right, Talio there, champs, and in this box we have an Alienware. Now, I'm not sure if it's a 15 or a 17. Looks like a mighty big box. It might be a 17, but I could be wrong. Could be a 15. Yes, these are the latest Alienwares. Now, there's two versions. There's Intel and a Ryzen version. Cherry MX mechanical keyboards. Can you believe that? That's a thing now, right? You have to have a mechanical keyboard in your gaming laptop, just like you need RGB. That's how it is. Now, should you get an Intel or a Ryzen version? Ryzen's are a little bit cheaper usually. It's really going to depend. For gaming, there's going to be not much difference between the Ryzen and the Intel. The Intel will be slightly faster at 1080p at lower settings, but nothing you're going to notice. So for gaming, don't worry about it. Just get any one. But you're going to have to see, do you need QuickSync, or you have to get Intel? Do you need Thunderbolt? You have to get Intel. Or do you need that killer CPU power you get on the Ryzen systems? Well, then you'll get the Ryzen. But purely for gaming, don't worry about it. Just get whichever one's on a deal, which is usually the AMD. All right, so let's get into it. Oh, it does say there, Intel inside. So obviously this is the Intel version. I assume it's an Alienware because I could see the white top of it. It could be the Dell G15, which, by the way, make sure you subscribe because that is coming soon. No, we have an Alienware, of course. White box, M17, okay. So this is the 17-inch bang. I thought so because the box was huge. It was huge. Now, of course, it will say on the side because Intel, yes, Thunderbolt. That's what you get with Intel, the Thunderbolt. Also, graphics amp. Okay, this is one thing. The AMD system, well, at least on the spec sheet, it said it didn't have the graphics amp on the AMD one. So that's one thing. You can't use the Alienware graphics amp with the AMD. Whoa, look at that. It's presented nicely, isn't it? I do like this. I like that they sent me the white one. Of course, you can get the dark side of the moon. Now, the Ryzen one's grey, isn't it? It's grey. We'll just take that out. We'll leave that there for a sec. We'll have a look in here. Of course, your power lead there. Power brick. So look at that power brick. That is one serious power brick there. 330 watts. Oh my God, this is a beast. Oh, when you see that, 330 watts. That is a beast. I'm thinking this has to have an RTX 3080 or something in it to have 330 watts. But yeah, you get some literature there. And in regard to thermals, we'll test out the thermals, but it's not really an issue anymore with dynamic boost because the CPUs don't go crazy. When we're talking about gaming, that is, of course. There you go. Pick it up with one hand. And as you'll see on the back here, the Alienware graphics amplifier, which is there, you don't get that on the AMD one. Thunderbolt, DisplayPort out, and HDMI 2.1. Wolf. I mean, a lot of manufacturers, they're not doing 2.1. What are you doing? This is, 30 series graphics. You have to have HDMI 2.1. It's sad if they don't. If you have a look on the side here on the left, you have USB Type A. We have, Ethernet and combination audio jack, and some more USB Type A's, and we do have micro SD as well. So, yep, it's got all the ports you want. Okay, unboxed. Now, Wolf. I mean, this thing is absolutely bonkers. It is off the charts. You're going to see some thermals that I've never seen. I'm going to see some performance that I have never seen. I mean, faster than any other 30 series laptop I've actually used. And even one with a 5900 HX. And the same 16GB 3080, although this is more powerful. Now, if I didn't mention before, you cannot get the mechanical keyboard on the 17-inch. That's only the 15-inch, and you only get the Ryzen version with the 15-inch as well. That's grey as well, that Ryzen version. 17-inch at the moment, no Ryzen version, no mechanical keyboard. But let me just roll the specs of this absolute monster, and the king is back, okay? They used to be the daddy, they used to be the king, well, queen. The king's the queen, and the queen's the king now. Doesn't matter. It used to be the one. It's back, baby. Have a listen to this. 17-inch Full HD, 360Hz, G-Sync, 16GB RTX 3080. Not only that, it's a 165 watt. It has an Intel 8 core 10870 or whatever the hell it is called these days. And if you have a look at the Cinebench run, I've never seen this on a gaming laptop. We're talking over 100 watts, 105 watts on that CPU. Running the full maximum performance the whole time, not undervolted, only 76, 77 degrees. Yes, That's 105 watts. I've never seen this in any gaming laptop ever. And it can maintain that 105 watts indefinitely from what I can tell in Cinebench. Not only that, as you'll see up here, when I hit the GPU, if you hit the GPU only, yes, you can get that 165 watts. If something else is running and hitting the CPU, you won't get it. You'll get about 145, 150 watts. In gaming, it's going to be a little bit different. Dynamic boost. I mean, how long is a piece of string? You don't know what's going to happen with dynamic boost. But basically, more power should be towards the GPU now. And the CPU should be lower frequency or lower power. But it doesn't matter with this system, because you can run the CPU and GPU 100% power and it won't buckle. It will get up to that 99 degrees, up to the 100. Now I'm mining on the GPU, hitting Cinebench on the CPU, and the reason I do that is because I can separate it. I used to use Luxmark, but Luxmark doesn't use enough power. And what you can see here, I see it, but I don't believe it, is the GPU up to 150 watts while the CPU is pushing over 100 watts as well. That's like 260 watts. Around that sort of area, that is just wow. That's like 100 watts more than a lot of laptops. Like, it is just amazing, this thing. And yes, I did get the highest score I've got on like Firestrike. And I even had to overclock the memory by 1000 to even push it even more to try and make that CPU buckle. And that's the only time the CPU buckled, is when I put 1000 megahertz on the RAM, overclocked the GPU. Then I could get the CPU to go under 100 watts, but it was still pushing 90. So this is overclocked to the max. Everything, it's just wow. This thing is amazing. It's going to be an awesome gaming machine. You know that. Just the performance is there. You can see it. Anyway, catch you in the next one. Stay tuned for the review. Make sure you sub up. Tally ho.